What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back in talking about what's going on over there in Iraq with the dinar. Again, there's more questions, so we'll cover those questions here in just a sec. You guys, if you're thinking about buying precious metals, give a consideration to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100 on precious metals, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Return buyers spending more than $200 between now and the end of the month, use promo code PEEPS, and you will get $10 back. It's just our way of saying thank you to our subscribers, and I actually do appreciate it. All right, you guys know over here I got Pimpy's Investment Chat. It is on Facebook. It is a Facebook group. It is free to join. So if you have any kind of questions about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, foreign currency investments, anything like that, there's a lot of very knowledgeable people in here, including myself. If you post a question, you'll get an answer. Okay. And finally, right here, you guys know this. I have this second YouTube channel called The Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes. Last night I posted a video. This one here says these were actual options, and I think it's something you guys should watch, because I told everybody I had these papers they were hacked Hillary papers, but in there was a write-up on they knew they were losing badly to Trump, but here's the thing: you should see the options they were weighing out to use on us. It'll make you sick. Anyways, if you got time, go check it out. There's two of them with the same covers, but this one here says these were actual options, okay? Check that one out. All right, so about the rate yet. Oh, not there. Here. Anyways, the rate did decrease, just in case, because people are asking me. They said it didn't change. I said, oh, it has now. I saw it. So you can see it went from 00084 now down to 0068. Okay, so when in previous videos I spoke about this, they were talking about lopping the dinar, lopping off the zeros, the 3 zeros, the deletion of the 3 zeros. You hear these all the time. There's these economists, they'll write them up once every 6 months or so, make these types of crazy recommendations. But for years they studied what would happen if they delete the zeros, lop them, delete them, whatever you want to call it. In other words, devalue the dinar. How it would disproportionately affect the poor people. People internationally would lose their faith in the Iraqi dinar as a currency. There was a lot of other things it would affect. So again, if you live in another country, but you have your product made in Iraq, while devaluing dinar is good. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you get more dinar for your dollars if you're here in the United States. So, and then you just ship the product back, no problem whatsoever. If you have a company within Iraq and you have to import goods that you need, supplies and items, anything whatsoever, then the devaluation is bad for you. It affects your company because you don't have the purchasing power that you once had. That means you get less items for more money, okay? And I told you they did these studies and there was going to be this problem. Okay, so the other day I was reading, there's an article in there. I showed you guys an article where it said, look, this devaluing of the dinar is going to be a one-time thing. Okay? And then I said, it was just my opinion. Look, this is good if it helps Iraqi people. I'm all for it. But I did not think it was going to be this devaluing wouldn't last very long. There's too many things going on. Iraq needs to start their infrastructure, and if that's the case, or rebuilding their infrastructure, and if that's the case, they need better purchasing power because most of the stuff they're going to need, they need to import. Now, the cool thing about devaluing the dollar in country means less likely people will import from other countries because you can just get their product there cheaper. Okay, so there's a lot of pros and cons to devaluing your currency. The one major pro is the fact that you could be more competitive. If you're exporting things to other countries, you'd be a lot more competitive because, again, the devaluing of the dollars. But the thing with Iraq is they really don't have anything at the moment. I'm just generally speaking. But so if you go through here, watch what they say about the dinar as we go through this. So first and foremost, as some of you may or may not know, Iraq has to import energy from Iran. Okay? And usually what happens is the president of the United States has to give them some type of exception to import there because, of course, there's sanctions on Iran. Okay, but here Iraq is having problems with Iran, who keeps reducing the amount of energy being sent to Iraq. So it could be for one or two issues. It could just be nothing. Something's going on. Or two, it could be, like I said, they're feeling emboldened to start bullying other countries over there. We'll see. But they know that Iraq is depending on it for their energy. Anyways, as Iraq's capital, Baghdad, and other cities are at risk of serious power shortages after Iran slashed gas exports. The electricity minister said on Sunday, potentially placing further pressure on the government of the Prime Minister Al-Kadhimi. Anyways, it says that Iran has reduced gas exports to Iraq to 5 million cubic meters from 50 million. That's huge, okay? That's only 10%. So they just reduced it by 90%. Yeah, that's a pretty big hit. And he did it 2 weeks ago, citing unpaid bills. Okay, so they don't have any bills. That's not a good thing. So anyways, it also officially informed Iraq electricity minister on Sunday. Well, here's the thing. Here's what it comes down to. Okay, Trump has been telling them, and they've been working on this. I know Siemens is over there, and so is General Electric, helping them get their electricity grid up. I know that Saudi Arabia is helping them, but they need to do it a lot more quicker. You can see here, like Washington has repeatedly extended a 90 to 120-day sanctions exemption for them to get their energy from Iran. So they need to get their S together and start doing what they can to provide energy for their own country without having to import it. So here we go. Al Rashida Bank stops the deposits and withdrawals of savings accounts. No, it's no big deal. It's the holidays. All it is they're just stopping until I think it's the 3rd of January. So they are on holiday. Tomorrow, Kurdistan Parliament will discuss the results of the negotiation delegation visit to Baghdad. Again, we need these guys to get this ironed out. I know the budget has been sent to Parliament, but again, I think the real holdup is the fact that, hey, they don't have an agreement between Erbil and Baghdad. It needs to get done. An advisor in the central bank determines its orientation regarding the exchange rate and the possibility of changing it again. This is what people were asking about. It says, I thought you said you're only going to do it one time. I said, I know. I read the article. You saw it. They said one time. Well, actually, technically what they said was they would only devalue the dinar one time, not change the rate. So devalue. Anyway, it says the advisor of the central bank determined the bank's orientation regarding the exchange rate and possibly of changing it again. Said the central bank monitors the exchange rate and tightens this in order to prevent instability and hikes in the exchange rate. And there is no intentions of the central bank to adjust the exchange rate at a higher value to the dollar against the dinar. In other words, what they just did. So don't misread this because people are asking me about this. Okay, so they just did that. They just hiked the exchange rate. Okay, so that the higher value to the dollar against the dinar. So in other words, you got more dinars for your dollars. That's what they're talking about. They're not going to do that again. Okay. He said it pointed out that the increase in the exchange rate took place once. And if it was in a gradual way, there would have been instability. In other words, instead of changing the rate all at one time like they did, and they did it small increments, it wouldn't have worked. So they just did it. You know what I mean? What's that old saying? Just go ahead and pull the Band-Aid off the scab or something like that. Anyways, it says here, there are people and banks that have monopolized the dollar after raising the value of its exchange with the aim of speculation. But what happens is that it price decreased, and this is convenient for the central bank because it insisted on changing the price for one time. See this? One time. Really devaluing one time. So let's change the wording so it makes sense there, okay? Anyways, to point out the central bank is independent, but it is part of the financial and monetary administration of the state. I must appoint the state to have previously entered due to late salaries. He advised the state to borrow. So anyways, yesterday, a member of the Economic Committee in the House of Representatives confirmed on Saturday that there is a parliamentary tendency to request a change in the exchange rate for a reason related to 3 million Iraqi citizens. I told you this was what might happen. Okay? If you have to use more dinars to import goods needed, that's really hard for you to pay salaries. People could lose jobs. The Iraqi Contractors Union, which represents a large sector of the country and one of dozens of sectors affected by the increase in the dollar exchange rate, confirmed in a meeting with them that 3 million workers will lose their jobs due to the increase in the exchange rate and expose them to great losses as a result. She added, rise in the dollar exchange rate pushed all prices up, including the raw materials in which local industries operate, indicating that support for the local industry comes through a roadmap that enters in multiple stages, not through sudden decisions. Okay? So, the House of Representatives will press towards discussing the possibility of modifying the exchange rate file after the arrival of the federal budget. So they went ahead and they decreased it, hoping to stretch out the dinar a little bit further, but it didn't work that way. Because then if you got your 3 million people are going to lose their job, this is the opposite effect than what you wanted to have. So, I thought this devaluing of the dinar was only a short-term thing. It just didn't make sense to me, especially since they had so much building to do and how it disproportionately affected the poor. So now there looks like there's already going to be pressure on them to go ahead and decrease the rate so that the value goes back up for dinar holders. All right. So hang tight. That's why I tell you, when you see good news, don't get overly excited. When you see bad news, don't get overly down, because we really got to pay attention to what they're doing. We don't care about what they say. We care about what they do. So it looks right here that 3 million people might lose their job. That's the total opposite direction in which we want them to go in. So it looks like there's going to be some pressure to go ahead and decrease. And therefore, what happens is you get less dinar for your US dollar, which is good for those individuals who are holding on to the dinar, okay? This is today, Sunday, relative stability in exchange rate of the dollar in the local market. So anyways, it's the rate was changed to 1,450 dinars for every $1. But on the exchange rate on the market, the stock exchange, it's actually performing pretty good. So it bounces somewhere between 1,410, 1,430 is where it's bouncing as far as that means the dinar is stronger than they had pegged is what it is. So it's doing very well in the market. It's not too bad. Okay. Other than that, that's about it, you guys. Oh yeah, here's the other thing people were asking me about. Academy Advisors reveals the truth about the World Bank's request to raise the dollar's price to 1,660 dinars. Remember we were talking about that? That's what the World Bank wanted. That would be a pretty big tumble. I mean, they moved it from 1,190 to 1,450. So if they would have went from 1,190 to 1,660 dinars, man, I think you would have had some serious riots. There's already people protesting. Anyways, this article just goes into detail how, they're just, although the World Bank, there is no agreement between them and the World Bank, they do understand that there's some changes that need to be done. It was supported by the IMF and the World Bank. Nonetheless, they didn't get what they requested, but they did decrease or increase the rate so that, again, it went up to 1,450. This thing is just a big what to do about it. And and how the World Bank's request. See, I told you we don't really want the World Bank or the IMF involved unless there is an actual emergency, to be quite honest with you. We don't want them involved at all because they're bad news. Anyways, you guys, I just wanted to come back and answer some of these questions. I know you guys saw these articles, and a lot of people who are newbies can't tell the difference when they talk about increasing the exchange rate versus decreasing the value of the dinar. Again, they're two separate things. Or actually, when you increase the rate, it decreases the value of the dinar. That's the wrong way. We want it to decrease the rate so to increase the value of the dinar. So they did decrease it. They did devalue it. We know this. We see it right here again. But now there's pressure for them to put it back because we're talking about 3 million Iraqis possibly losing their jobs. So let's see what happens, you guys. Keep your fingers crossed. That would be going in the right direction for us. We absolutely want them to increase the value of the dinar against the US dollar. And last but not least, keep in mind, again, this is not taking into consideration the drop of the US dollar as it loses its value and its power. All right, that's it for now. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so. Because when you do, helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. I'll catch you later.